Welcome back to Dirty Hands of the Republic. I'm Tom Nixon, and with me is Joe Fenwick. All right, but today we have with us retired Houston police officer Rodney Jaime, and he is out of HPD Class 148. He started with the Houston Police Department in 1992. Gosh, that's last century.
Yes.
A long time ago. Retired in 2019. And you and I worked together at Central Patrol, which is 1 district, 2 district, back in 2001. That's where I met you.
Ooh, that's a long time.
I know. And then from there, did you go to the academy from Central?
I was at Central for 3 or 4 years, DWI Task Force for 3 or 4 years, back to Central, and then finally to the academy.
Okay.
After 18 years, I went to the academy.
What'd you do at the academy?
Tactical training unit. When that got started, I was there for 6 years, and then defensive tactics for 2-3 years, and then pulled the plug, and now here I sit with you.
So why did you go to the academy?
It's kind of burnt out.
And you mean burnout from patrol?
Just burnt out from patrol and just policing in general, and just trying to figure out what next step was, and the opportunity came up, and I got accepted for the position, so.
Okay. And was that to get weekends off, or was that to...
No, well, that kind of sweetened us. That kind of helped. But no, I enjoy teaching. I was teaching active shooter with Joe for a couple of years, and things just kind of, I guess, transitioned to there, and it worked out.
What I always found funny was there were always more people who had Monday, Tuesday off, or Wednesday, Thursday off than there were people who had Saturday, Sunday off in patrol.
Yes.
At any station. Like only one person ever had Saturday, Sunday.
It was great for getting stuff done in town because, everyone's working when you're off.
Well, no shit, but I mean, at some point you want to see your family, especially at Christmas time, but never, that's a whole other...
Wacky Christians.
That's a whole other issue. I mean, at some point you want to, I don't know.
At some point you want to have somewhat of a normal life.
Yeah, and it was like one person at patrol would get Saturday, Sunday off. Everybody else had, Thursday, Friday off. And it's like, okay, great, whatever. But anyway, so what experience do you feel like really shaped your career?
Ooh, a whole lot of stuff. I didn't lay this on to you guys before, but I kind of had a screwed up childhood. My brother was in prison in and out as far as I can remember.
For what?
What do you got?
Drugs?
What else?
Robbery?
No.
Burglary?
Probably.
Attempted murder?
Close.
Murder?
Well, what do they call it?
Aggravated assault?
No, negligent.
Negligent homicide?
Yeah, I think so, or something.
Intoxicated manslaughter?
No.
Okay.
That was before.
No.
Okay. Wow. How did you ever go to the prison to see him?
And we'll come back to this a little bit later because it involves Kent Weinbrenner.
Okay.
Oh,
really?
I was 16.
Well, don't leave me in suspense.
Kent Weinbrenner was an officer on the scene for my brother's demise. When we were doing the tactical medical stuff, we were talking about tourniquets, and Kent tells me about this scene. I'm like, that was my brother. He goes, what? I was 16. Kent was an officer. And y'all did a segment on Kent how long ago?
Just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so this was in...
I had no idea.
This was in early, mid-'80s.
So what did he say?
He was telling me how the suspect bled out. I'm like, yeah, those are my brother's handiwork, so... The look in your face right now.
Yeah, well, now I'm confused. Your brother was involved in an altercation with somebody else?
Yes.
And what happened?
So my brother was always getting in trouble, and him and his buddy somehow got in a fight with this guy. The guy was shooting at him, and he left, and my brother went back and chased him down and cut him with a machete. And the guy ran down the street. And
Oh, so both your brother and the other guy passed away?
the suspect, yes.
The suspect,
Yeah.
okay.
No, my brother did not pass away.
Oh,
The suspect did. He bled out.
okay. But what happened to your brother?
He went to prison.
Oh, for defending himself?
Well,
I think he said coming
He
back.
came back there. He came back. So what, Mr. Attorney there, what happens when you leave a scene and come back and put yourself in there?
You go to prison.
Tom Nixon, the tough lawyer. I didn't say smart, I said tough.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so clearly not defending himself. Got it.
I retract what I said about asking questions you didn't know the answer to.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. And Weinbrenner was the primary. What did he do? The report, or what did he do?
Well, he did a supplement, but the fact that he was there and now I'm working with him, it's just,
But he remembered it.
yeah, because it was a very graphic scene, I guess. You know.
Damn. With a machete, apparently.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sounds like interesting fun. All right. So, were you involved in any shootings at HPD?
Just a dog.
Oh, did you ever get shot at?
I don't say directly, just I was there when shots went off. I don't know if it was directed at me, but it got my attention. It was close.
I was one night in 17th District. Just randomly, some guy shot at my patrol car. I'm like, what? It happens faster than you realize.
Target-rich environment.
And you're just like, wait, what? And you don't even know it you got shot at. You think it sounds like a firework, right?
Yeah, it's just one of those like, wait, what?
And then I heard the bullet, because I've heard bullets before, right? I mean, you were in the Marine Corps, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did they shoot at you in the Marine Corps? Because in the Army they make you crawl under a
Yeah, they're
machine
shooting
gun.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just zing.
And you figure out what a bullet traversing over your head sounds like, and I heard it again. And
So
I
I'm
was
sure
like,
you
oh my
wrote a
God.
report for that bullet hole in your car, right?
I didn't want to. I wanted to go to lunch. People don't get it, man. That's the most important thing
I agree, but
is going to lunch.
as everyone else watches this channel, doing a report for something like that can really get you in trouble, even though it's.
Well, we couldn't find the guy. I mean, like I got on the radio, called other units. Other units showed up. We couldn't find the guy. Only because he went into a crowd of, like 35 other drunk Mexicans.
Nowadays,
And they just didn't, all of a sudden, nobody knew anything. We didn't see anything,
That's why you didn't do a report?
Oh,
Well, we couldn't find him.
Nowadays, though,
Nobody,
what do you think these guys would get? How much trouble would they get in for not doing a report or something like that?
4 days off, I guess.
There's some discipline.
Yeah. Yeah, they give a lot of days off for stuff that they used to give written reprimands for.
Well, this was 1996. Yeah,
And then they'd get in trouble for discussing lunch over the computer.
yeah. Well, this is 1996, so nobody back then. It was like
Yeah.
nobody.
Frivolous communication on the MDT. Yes, frivolous.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what they called it, frivolous. I'm like, I didn't know lunch was frivolous.
I've got the paperwork to prove.
thought
I've got
it was
the paperwork
important.
to prove it.
Oh, did you get
Oh yeah, I'll start writing it. I've got the paperwork to prove it. Yeah.
frivolous communication? Did you?
You can get suspended for asking where we're going to go eat on the MDT.
It's frivolous.
It's not official.
Absolutely necessary.
No, I guess. Well, now you have text messaging. I guess you can.
Yes, now they do it. Now, now nobody.
But back then, that was the instant messaging computer.
Yeah.
Car to
Yeah,
car.
you
That was so
bump.
useful.
Bump people.
Except for asking for lunch.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So, was there any one moment in your career that you felt like really kind of changed your perception of? Because everybody becomes police officers with preconceived ideas of honor and integrity and doing the right thing and getting the bad guys and
At first, no,
justice
because
and all that. But then,
my role model was my brother.
okay.
See how that ended up, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So you see what's happening now, that we hate the police, because that's what I grew up around. I didn't know any better. I would just follow along. And then saw what was going on with there, and just, right around 12 years old is when I started realizing what my brother was doing as best I could understand and the impact it had on my family.
Okay.
So
Okay.
more than one night that family would be leaving in the middle of the night, I'm like, what's going on? Decided to go to the Marine Corps. I was going to go to the Army at first, and the buddy of mine was going to go and said, that recruiter's going to screw you. Imagine that, the military screwing you. That never happens.
Did they promise you infantry and gave you
He
infantry?
said they promised him, and he goes, don't go with them. So I backed out. Then I started thinking, you know what? Maybe the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And in my mind, it was the hardest one at the time in my little 17, 18-year-old head. So there I was.
You go to Paris Island or Pendleton?
I was Hollywood.
Okay.
No
And
fan fleas.
How long were you out there?
No bad water.
Oh, yeah.
Camp Lejeune.
Yes.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
there's a case for you.
No, it's
You weren't there.
it's all predetermined. But anyway, so Pendleton, how long were you out there?
Well, I did my boot camp there, and then my first unit was supposed to be 1-7, which they were going to 29 Palms, which I did not want. And so I volunteered and ended up in Okinawa.
Okay, so you went to Okinawa.
And then came back and did 2 tours in Okinawa, and then the Gulf War started.
Okay,
They sent us to the Philippines. I sat there doing nothing, and then
you were in the Philippines during the Gulf
I was
War.
yep, sitting there doing nothing. I was married at the time, so I was a good boy.
Okay.
So, no excitement. And then we left. And then 2 weeks later, just before we were leaving, that's when we gave all the bases back to the Philippine government.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then the volcano erupted.
Right.
We had left. So that was the best thing because I would have been a working party of volcanic ash.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So James
That's
Ludlow
fun.
he had to go back to try to do all the policing and cleaning up all the water filtration systems. So he told me what happened. I'm glad I left.
Yeah.
I bet.
Okay.
bet.
So that would have been what 1991.
91. Yeah, 91.
Yeah. Okay.
91. So then, just natural course, seemed like go to the police department, apply for a couple places in LA and San Diego, and didn't happen. And that's when the police department just changed from college to college and or military. So I applied and got accepted.
Were your parents shocked that you joined the police department?
They were shocked when I joined the Marine Corps.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was, well, now that I think about it, because I thought I was just, I'm the youngest of 3, 5 years from my sister, 6 years from my brother, and I was the first one to leave home. But now that I think about it, my brother was the first one to leave home. He worked for the government as well.
Mm-hmm.
In prison?
In prison.
Did you ever visit your brother in prison?
Yeah.
Which unit?
He was in for counterfeiting.
At that time?
At that time, I got out of boot camp, and it was some federal pen in Bastrop,
Oh.
and they were wearing the old Vietnam era fatigues.
Oh, really?
The same belt that I had. It's a government issue.
That's funny.
Look at his face
Bastrop?
in Bastrop.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Actually, that's a nice facility. I've been in a few. I've had clients, that I've had
5-star, I'm sure.
No, you would not want to go to prison. But
Yeah, yeah.
It would suck.
Yeah, I was kidding.
On the suck scale, it's actually not too bad.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
compared to the ones in Huntsville.
Yeah, that have no air conditioning.
Because if you
There are units that have no air conditioning.
did either one of y'all ever do the way back when they had cool in-service training way back in the early '90s, there was a prison tour one. Did you guys ever do that?
I never went out. I know guys who did it,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
Oh man, it is a scary place. It
Yeah.
was just
I didn't need to. I went to the jail and could smell urine there.
I wasn't in prison.
Just as good.
Yeah. I'm like, I bet it's just like this.
Yeah. So yeah. From what I saw in Bastrop to Huntsville is completely different. So yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Club Med to
Was a Fed prison?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's always better.
But government issued stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so, and how long was he in prison? Just out of curiosity. Now I'm curious because
I have no idea because it went back just
when was the last time you saw him?
a couple months ago. Really, I have no contact with them.
Oh, really?
No, just so one day I get a phone. I was working DWI and I get a phone call. Hey, this is your brother? Yes, we just arrested him. Said for what? He ran from us.
Did you kick his ass?
So I had another officer with me, and we drove out there, and that was a turning point. I said, I'm done with you. You know what? I really don't care. You brought nothing but heartache to our family. I don't care if you go back to prison. I don't care. So that was pretty much the breaking point.
So, because the department has that general order that you can't associate with known felons or.
Yeah, so it caused some strife. Honestly, with my other family, but I would stay away from my family because he would come around. So I said, I don't want to be around that. So
Okay, that's interesting.
it's a little shock to you guys, I'm sure.
No. I mean, well, no, but I just think that's fascinating.
Yeah,
You can pick your friends.
yeah,
Can't pick your family.
yeah.
But it's a fascinating
But the funniest thing I think
relationship.
Thing I think is, when did we start the medical stuff?
11, 12?
something like that.
Yeah.
So I'd been on 19 years, and Kent's been on probably 100.
At that time.
And I was 16 at the time when he was involved with that. So it's just I thought that was, take for what it's worth, kind of the cool thing, though.
Now I kind of wish we'd asked him about that.
Well, we didn't know.
I know.
Yeah.
So there is a possibility, because what happened was, it wasn't far from my house.
Okay.
So my house is on the north side of the crime scene. My parents were on the south side. I'm 16 years old. I'm terrified. I don't know what's going on. So I bust through the crime scene trying to get to my family, and the officers grabbed me, and my mom's like, I made it all the way to the south side, so it was a pretty long crime scene.
Right.
But so the officers grabbed me because they don't know who I am. First of all, they think I'm my brother, so thankfully I didn't get a boot to my head. But it may have been very well been. Kent put his hands on me. I didn't know it.
All right. So, Rodney, one of the other things that I think has changed police work in the last, say, 5 years, 10 years is body cameras, to the extent that it's helped officers in citizen-led complaints where, people make false claims about what an officer did at a scene, versus it has also kind of put the eye of Sauron, if you will, on every officer in the department. So I guess my question is, from a patrol officer's point of view, do you think body cameras have helped or hurt overall, make things better or worse? I think it's worse, but that's just my personal humble opinion.
I would say if we had a scale here, I would say leaning more towards worse because it's not being used properly.
Yeah, that's in a nutshell.
Yeah. Okay. Explain for the audience.
First of all, I got off the streets before the cameras existed.
I understand.
So fortunately, I don't have a whole lot to draw on other than what I'm seeing in my personal opinion on how this helps or not. So that said, does not mean I've not had my share of complaints.
Okay. So what complaint was the biggest complaint you dealt with?
Yeah, nothing sticks to mind, but
how about the fact that supervisors at the Houston Police Department have to randomly search video, right, to ascertain whether officers are following the general orders all the time at any given time? But I think that's what body cameras kind of came from, was this idea that, well, we don't have enough information. We never have enough information. And we certainly can't rely on what the officer tells us happens.
Well, it depends what information
And I think that's what it really boils down to is the leadership of the police department automatically assumes you're lying to them, from what I can tell.
Oh, your mouth's open, right?
Yeah. And so consequently, they need body camera video in order to prove what you're telling them is true. And that's really what it comes down to. And I think once police officers kind of understand that dynamic, they stop doing police work. They're just like, why do I want to work for someone who always makes the worst assumption about me?
It's an abusive relationship.
It is.
It is. And another thing that they do is now they have no compunction whatsoever of seeing the video and then interpreting however they feel like. You should have done this, shouldn't have done that. Should have done it faster, should have done it slower. Didn't de-escalate, whatever it